Good morning, good morning, good morning from Sydney, Australia. Hope you guys are well today. It is Monday. Oh my gosh, it's December the 2nd. It's December the 2nd. Here we are, only a couple of weeks away from Christmas. Today, yes, is Monday. Today is December the 2nd, but today is also the start of Boost Camp. So, Boost Camp officially started today. That, of course, is the 28-day Boost Camp. Started, I can't believe it. It started today, this morning, officially, which is super exciting because it means we have one more chance to give it a bit of a go in terms of, making a few pretty good changes before we get into Christmas. It's our last Boost Camp for 2024. It comes free with, this is exciting, with my ebook, Merry and Bright, which is my Christmas digital cookbook. That comes free with this Boost Camp. Plus, of course, you get to have one more chance at giving this a little bit of a boost before we get into Christmas, because my goodness, I know I'm going to say it, but it snuck up on us, didn't it? Yeah, it totally did. Christmas is here. Well, it is very close to being here. In fact, I think this week I'm going to be putting up the Christmas decorations. I'm not sure if anyone else is putting up Christmas decorations this week, but I think it's time. It's definitely time, because I'm already thinking about what we're going to be eating for Christmas, what we're going to be having on Boxing Day, what does New Year's Eve look like, what does New Year's Day look like. I'm looking at the types of foods that I would like to eat this year. And we've got a lot of family coming over to stay at home with us. So it's going to be a real special Christmas. In fact, we're going to have all the grandparents here, which is really, really great. So on both sides of the family, the grandparents are going to be here. We've got brothers and sisters of mine turning up, nieces and nephews, and obviously children and son-in-laws and family and friends all turning up. So it's going to be a pretty exciting Christmas. I want to make sure I'm organized. I want to make sure I've got one more shot at Boost Camp before that happens. There's a couple of outfits that I'd really like to look nice in this Christmas, most definitely. So I am giving it one more go with you guys. If you are joining me on Boost Camp, Tippy started today alongside me and and the household as well. There is 3 of us on Boost Camp starting today. I spent all of yesterday prepping, not all of it, but I spent a good couple of hours prepping for the week for the 3 of us. Plus, of course, making Sunday dinner and all that sort of stuff. So I'm feeling pretty confident going into this week. It's a super busy week as well, incredibly busy. So in order for me to stay on top of everything that's happening this week especially, I wanted to make sure that my prep was done yesterday. So that's one of the things I love about Boost Camp is we don't have to think, I look at what we're eating today. I've got it printed out and on top of the fridge, stuck to the fridge, and I just look at what we're eating today. I'm going, oh yeah, that's pretty good. So I'm excited for breakfast. The boys are just off at the gym. Once they get back from the gym, I'm not at the gym today. I'm with you guys. I'll go for a walk later on. The boys have headed off to the gym this morning. When they get back, we're going to get into that delicious, delicious breakfast. Yeah, Tony's saying packed to the rafters. It is, yes, and it is my birthday as well. In between Christmas and New Year's, we also get to celebrate my birthday. Hence why we've got kind of everyone descending on us and descending in such a wonderful way. I feel like it reminds me of Christmas we used to have back in the day where we'd all descend on usually my grandmother's house. She lived in the far north of the North Island of New Zealand, and we would all descend on her house. And it was a 3-bedroom home with 1 bathroom, of course, because that's what homes were like back in the days. There was only 1 bathroom. And I think at one Christmas, New Year period, there was well over 60 of us staying in this house. Like we were using the neighbors' bathrooms. Like we were just, we're going to. I remember going across the road and then through the paddock, through the farmer's paddock, and we would all be bathing in the creek. take our soap with us. Our I think it was Castile soap with us, And off we went to the creek. That's how we would all wash, because there was 50 to 60 of us staying at the house, all in tents in the yard. And it feels like we're going to have that again. Maybe not quite that many, and we do have a few more bathrooms this time around. But it's amazing. Look, I don't know how we all did it. I really don't. And I'm just so glad that we did. Amazing memories. So yeah, it's going to be busy. So I want to share with you guys what I'm going to be cooking and what I'm going to be eating. And this is also, by the way, a little teaser of the cooking classes that I've got coming up for you guys starting this week as well. So I've got some cooking classes that I will be doing for all of us, just so we've got just that little bit more knowledge, that little bit more background about, you know, what we can all do to make sure that we're having a fabulous, healthy Christmas, and we're not missing out on the feasting. Because often what happens, as you guys know, is that there's a lot of guilt that we attach to this time of year, because the food tends to be, on many occasions, you know, not as healthy as it could be. I'm here to say that does not need to be the case. You can still have your treats. You can still have all the foods that we associate with Christmas, but there are amazing, healthy versions of these traditional recipes that I grew up with. And the recipes I'm sharing with you guys today are the ones that we used to have when we used to all gather as a family, you know, 40, 50, 60 of us all in one home. And these are the foods that we would feast on. How we didn't get a lot more food poisoned, I'm not sure. When I think about like refrigeration and stuff, I'm like, however we managed, I don't know. I really don't know. So I'm going to share with you guys my top 5 healthy recipes for Christmas feasting. All right, let me just pop them up. I've got, you know what? I've got photos to share. So this is probably number 1. This first recipe I'm sharing with you guys is always on my Christmas table. In fact, Christmas, and especially if, you know, you're Australian or New Zealand, this recipe we find out, you know, between the two countries all the time who originally invented it. You guys know where I'm going here, right? This recipe always turns up. This is my 0 sugar. So it's a sugar-free, gluten-free, grain-free, dairy-free pavlova. And it's one that I have been making for the last 8 years that I've been on this healthy journey. Prior to that, it was just a sugar, dairy-laden pavlova, because this is just one of those recipes that is always there. It has always showed up every single Christmas, every single New Year's. It's there. And I can remember being that kid so excited to break into that pavlova, right? Break your spoon in through that light little crusty exterior that a pavlova has, to get into that wonderful pillowy, soft interior, which is what a pavlova is. Now, if you're wondering what's the difference between a pavlova and a meringue tends to be a little bit crispier. So it's kind of, it's the recipe's slightly different, but the baking is also different as well. Whereas a pavlova needs to be just a very soft exterior, very, very soft crust, and then the interior is very, very pillowy, whereas a meringue tends to be quite hard on the outside. Nothing wrong with a good meringue, but let's be honest, the pavlova is where it's at. I'm not sure if anyone else agrees with me, but it always appears. And now that we have this healthy version, this sugar-free, grain-free, and dairy-free version of a pavlova, it seems almost like a no-brainer that you would make it. Now, trust me on this, and yes, I'll be doing a cooking class on this. It is a lot easier than some people may assume. I do remember as a young chef, and even as a young person attempting my first pavlova, this is obviously with sugar and all the normal stuff you'd find in the more traditional pavlovas, is that people would say, oh, you can't make a pavlova when it's humid, it's really temperature dependent, there's things about it, there's a lot of nuances that you have to bear in mind, etc., etc. I'm going to break all those misconceptions down for you during the cooking class, show you just how easy it is to make pavlova, and of course there's multiple things that you can do with it. As you can see, I'm just doing the traditional pavlova, as in one large pavlova. I think from memory, this is about 6 egg whites in this pavlova. So, it's also a real user-friendly, budget-friendly recipe as well. And then on top of that, I've got some whipped coconut cream. You can see all those wonderful fresh berries I've got in there as well. I mean, that for me now is the traditional pavlova. And I'll show you guys how to make that. But of course, once you've made this pavlova, leftovers are great. You can make eaten mess. So I like to take some of my macerated berries and put that leftover not that there's usually much left over, but if there is, it goes into a bowl. You mix it with a little bit more of that wonderful, whipped coconut cream that's slightly sweetened with inulin or fiber syrup, and then you mix berries through it, and you've made eaten mess, which is another very famous recipe. But nothing can literally, for me personally, get me past this. Love, love, love the sugar-free pavlova, and that is number 1 on my healthy Christmas feasting list. Who would have thought, right? Pavlova can be healthy. It's like, yay! And yeah, it does require a little bit of work, but to be honest with you, it's not that hard. So that's one cooking class we're going to be doing, is on the pavlova. Now, speaking about pavlova, I'm just going to stay with the treats for a minute, because there's just one other treat and this one is actually for my dad. My dad would say that Christmas is not complete, and he was quite adamant, and I think it would drive my mum a little bit mad sometimes, because she was responsible for a lot of the cooking. And this recipe does have a few components. It looks relatively simple, but it's actually got quite a few components to it. And the one I'm talking about, of course, is our pavlova. So what I have here is I have a homemade sponge, which again is gluten-free and sugar-free and dairy-free. And then we've got just a little bit of almond custard through there. So already you've got obviously 2 components. There is that whipped coconut cream again in there. I think I flavored that with a bit of vanilla. And then I've got all these wonderful summer berries on top of it. So pavlova, that Christmas at my grandma's house with all the family descending, there was always pavlova, there was always trifle. And as my dad would always say, Christmas is not complete without trifle. And he meant it, and Mum knew it. So I'm going to teach you guys how to make a summerberry trifle using all these different components. And, you can make it as simple as you want it to be, or you can be a little bit more technical about it. But I'm going to show you guys a simple way to get your pavlova, because there are a few components that are involved. And then it's that matter of layering those wonderful components as well. So trifle always shows up. It does, but it only ever shows up for me at Christmas. It's not a Easter thing, which is really weird, isn't it? I don't know. Can I see does anyone eat trifle when it's not like Christmas? I'm just looking at the comments now. Does anyone eat trifle? Oh, Linda's saying she always had trifle as well. Now, Linda, do you eat trifle? Do you eat trifle, Linda, at any time of the year apart from Christmas? This is my curiosity today. I'd like to know if anyone's like, yay, we're going to get into Christmas. Are we going to get into, I don't know, Easter? We're going to have trifle, because it never shows up in my house apart from Christmas, which is really fascinating. I think there's definitely a little bit of my dad and me, because I'm just like, no, it's not Christmas unless we have trifle and pavlova. Amazing, right? Tony's saying she just has it at Christmas too. Linda's going, nope, only at Christmas. I know, right? It's just hilarious, isn't it? Just hilarious. So that is number 2, the trifle. And you either love it or you hate it. Look, I'm a fan. And the first time I had a really, really good version of a trifle, well, hey, now I'm thinking there is a trifle that I do eat at other times of the year, and that's an Italian trifle. Right, the tiramisu, which is that espresso soaked sponge fingers and layered with mascarpone and stuff. So there are other times of the year that I eat a trifle, but more your traditional English style trifle that only comes out at Christmas. So that is my number 2 for you guys. I'm not sure if you agree or disagree with my my top 5 things, but this is it. This is for me is where the rubber hits the road. You invite me over to your house for Christmas, you better have pavlova, and you better have trifle, and ideally it's healthy. And of course, my versions are. So let's now move on to a bit of savory. And look, this is a relatively new thing for me. This is not as traditional. Now, I'm talking about the proteins that you might look at serving over Christmas time. So very traditional proteins, as we know, is our ham on the bone. Now, yes, it did not make my top 5. I've got to tell you. I still get it. I get that ham is a very traditional thing, especially in this part of the universe and this part of the world. Down under, we tend to have the traditional Christmas ham. I know throughout, that's definitely a European or English tradition as well, to have the smoked ham or the cured ham on the bone. I don't have it as much now, and here's the reason why. Normal, like cured ham, the big ones that you get especially from like the supermarkets, and I have been checking, I've been looking at ingredients lists. Majority of those hams are full of nitrates. And a nitrate is something that they they inject it into the meat in order for the meat to stay a certain color. Because I'm not sure if you've ever cooked a pork roast, right? Pork, when you cook it, the meat kind of goes white or a little bit brown, depending on the type of the roast, right? It's definitely not that bright pink color that we get from our sliced hams. And I'm talking about like ham, ham on the bone that's been sliced in the deli, or champagne ham or whatever, honey smoked or whatever, right? All that sort of stuff, honey glazed ham. You get this really bright pink color. Now, that bright pink color is thanks to the nitrates that they inject into the meat before it is then cooked. And it's a nitrate that is very problematic for us. So nitrates are carcinogenic. In other words, they are cancer-causing chemicals. And the overuse of nitrates, especially in the deli industry, so cooked meats, is really problematic. So nitrates have been, I think, for the last, at least 10 years, so over a decade now, the World Health Organization has categorized nitrate, sodium nitrate, as being carcinogenic because it's cancer causing. It is a neurotoxin to the brain, and it is a dangerous element to be pumping into our meats. And if you're someone who regularly eats deli meats, you need to be really mindful of the nitrates that they put into most deli meats, because they want it to be a certain color. Like, I don't know why, and that's all it's there for, by the way. A nitrate is there to make it a more appealing color. Not because it improves the flavor, not because it improves the taste. It is literally for cosmetic purposes. Now, this is the other thing that I believe, is that the food industry thinks we're a bunch of morons. Like, I don't need my ham to be pink. I just need it to be like healthy, thank you. So I stopped for many years having ham on the bone, because of all the nitrates that were in them. Now, good news, you can buy nitrate-free ham. Bad news, it's quite expensive. In fact, it's like, well, if you're not adding, some type of thing to it, shouldn't it be cheaper? Because there's less ingredients. But yeah, they are a little bit harder to come by, but you can find them. Go online. Nitrate, if you must have a Christmas ham on your table, because you're like me, you're a traditionalist when it comes to meat, trifle, and pavlova. I'm a traditionalist. You can get the healthy version, and that healthy version is a nitrate-free version. Go online and Google, like nitrate-free ham for me, and you will find them. A lot of them you can pre-order to have delivered close to Christmas time, if you want to do that. And but the only reason that ham hasn't made my top 5 is because I just stopped having it, because it is quite expensive. And and majority of the versions that we can buy in all our supermarkets, and even in the supermarket, like, I'm just like, man, it's so expensive. All you got to do is look at the ingredients, right? On that ham, you're looking for either sodium nitrate, which is obviously nitrates. The other one where they will try and sneak it in without us realizing is just to put it as a number, and that number is preservative 250, 250. If you see preservative 250, that's the nitrates. Sometimes they'll say it's got sodium nitrate in it. Sometimes they won't because they just want to trick us. And they'll just put it down. How sneaky are food manufacturers? And even that like really expensive hams I've seen in like, Woolies and Coles in the supermarkets already, like they're nitrate hams. That's why they are the color that they are. So buyer beware. That's why it didn't make my top 5 list. But here is what has made my top 5 list in terms of a protein. Are you ready? All right. Woo! So what you see here, look at me. I'm excited just looking at it. No, it's not a big chicken. It's a turkey. Now, turkey is not something that I grew up eating. It just wasn't a type of poultry that was readily available. So we didn't eat it. But as I've gotten older and I like to think wiser, and I'd love to know if anyone eats turkey. I really would. I'd love to know. As I've gotten older and wiser, what I now realize that this is definitely a healthier option, because what we're getting is we're getting just the bird, right? Just the bird, and more and more turkeys are readily available. And I've actually replaced the traditional ham on the bone for turkey. And I think the reason why the reason why I've done it is because I'm just getting the bird, right? And of course you can get organic turkeys, you can get farm, free range turkeys. You can get like so many different varieties of turkeys now. And when it comes to the turkey, and the recipe that I'm going to teach you guys is that your turkey doesn't need to take 4, 5, 6 hours to cook, because who wants to have the oven on for 4, 5, 6 hours, all right? That's just not what we want in this part of the world. We want to have the oven on for a short amount of time as possible, to not heat up the house. And so I've got a wonderful recipe for a turkey, and I'm talking a good, decent size, like 3, 4, 5 kilo turkey that you can have cooked from raw to ready to put on your table within 75, 85 minutes. So we're talking, an hour and a bit, 75 minutes. That's an hour and a quarter. Depending on the size, it might be 85 minutes. So then, an hour and 25 minutes. An hour and 25 minutes, you can have cooked a 3 kilo plus size bird that is enough to feed heaps of people as part of a buffet. And it's taking me 75 minutes, right? So I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. It's going to be one of our cooking classes. Debbie's saying, yeah, I love this. That's right, gobble, gobble. Let's go. Tony's also saying it's protein in your breakfast this week. Me too. It's in my shakshuka. I love turkey. I love turkey mince. But I also love a good turkey, because even Cherie Brown saying she loves a good turkey. And it is a nice, healthy protein option that doesn't need to scare us with, oh my God, it takes so long to cook. Oh my goodness, how will I know it's cooked? So I'm going to be doing a turkey in 75-minute cooking class for you guys to show you all the tips and the tricks for buying your turkey, what to look for, how to baste it, and also, of course, that really quick cooking method that involves how to test that it's done as well. And once you know how, it doesn't feel as daunting. You're just going to make sure your oven's big enough, which can be a little bit problematic. Oops, I'm just going to have to scream. Sorry, Coco, I'll call you back. It can be a little bit problematic. It can be a little bit problematic, if your oven's too small. In fact, when I used to, it's really hilarious. A little side note. When I used to work for an appliance company, and I used to do a lot of work for the appliance company AEG, which is a German brand, beautiful ovens, absolutely gorgeous ovens, and dishwashers and all sorts of other stuff they do. And I would do cooking classes to show people how to use their new appliances. And I love doing it because I would go into these beautiful showroom kitchens. I get to play with all their appliances and teach people how to use their appliances, because these beautiful German brands, they're precision pieces of equipment. And so they'd bring on a chef and I would have a cooking class and would eat whatever I had cooked. And I would get people just turning up. Pre-Christmas was the busiest period, around about sort of October, November, because people were buying ovens, upgrading the size of their ovens so they can fit in their Christmas ham or their Christmas turkey. People buy ovens just for Christmas. I had no idea. I did not know this was a thing until I started working for AEG, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. So yes, absolutely, we can do the whole, Christmas turkey. It's number 3 on my top 5 list, and I'm absolutely going to show you guys the tips and the tricks and what to look for and all that sort of stuff when it comes to turkey. Let me know if you'd still like me to do a Christmas ham cooking class, because I can do one if you want. And what we'll do is we will do a healthy glaze for our Christmas ham. And of course, I can talk further about nitrates as well. Just let me know if you guys would like to see that, because I'm open to suggestion at this point in time. So that was number 3. Now, moving back to something a little bit treaty, but absolutely wonderful. And again, my Christmas is not complete without this particular, these styles of recipes that I love to cook. And what I'm talking about is the Christmas cookie or the Christmas biscuit. So I like to have a range of Christmas things, right? Christmas cookies and biscuits that are available, and this one is one of my particular favorites. And the reason being is that if you can imagine gingerbread, or a gingerbread man or a gingerbread woman or a gingerbread person, you imagine the flavors of like a gingerbread house. So what I've created here is the flavors of a gingerbread, but in a soft raw cookie dough. So it's almost like the way that I like to kind of I suppose to preface it is, it's like eating a gingerbread house, but it's a soft dough, almost like cookie dough, like raw cookie dough. So it is a raw product. There's obviously no eggs or anything like that in it. So it is a raw product, but it just tastes like Christmas, because for me, those gingerbread flavors, those warm, spicy cinnamons and nutmegs and, all those types of gingery flavors, again, like it's Christmas smells. Like I love Christmas candles, and I love Christmas baking, and I particularly like those spices, those flavors of Christmas. And for me, these wonderful little dough cookies are amazing, because yes, you can just eat them like a little raw, almost like a protein ball type of thing, like a bliss ball. You can eat it like that. You can have them in the fridge. You can, serve them with a nice, egg-free eggnog. I do that as well, by the way. I've got a vegan eggnog that we make, which is pretty hilarious. But the thing I really like about it, it's versatility. I like to put it through a healthy, sugar-free, gluten-free, dairy-free ice cream. It is so good, like having cookie dough in your ice cream, gingerbread cookie dough in your ice cream. So this is another recipe that's become a firm favorite in our house. It always turns up. It always turns up. Every Christmas it turns up, and so it should, because it's absolutely phenomenal. It is really, really delicious. So that is number 4. And again, I'm going traditional feasting. I'm going all in this year, especially with so many of my family traveling from different parts of the world to spend Christmas with us. We've got, like I said, people coming from every corner. So I want to make sure that we have that really traditional Christmas, and it feels like Christmas, and it smells like Christmas, and it looks like Christmas. I'm just going to sneak all the healthy food into them. I'm not going to tell them it's healthy. They're probably going to guess, right? I think they know what I do at this stage. I think they know that I'm the Bridget of Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. I think they've worked it out, but even still, I'm not going to sit there and go, oh my God, you've got to eat that because it's got no gluten. I never do that. Never, ever, ever. Why? Why tell them? Because they just eat it. They go, oh, wow, this is delicious. And I'm like, yeah, I know, right? It's just delicious food. It's not healthy food. It's just real food. And that's what we're going to be making, real food. And so this is my fifth most favorite. Fifth most favorite. I can't even say it without getting a little bit emotional. This is my fifth most favorite traditional feasting recipe, and it's probably not what you think. Aha! I'm being a bit sneaky, but it is. This always appears every Christmas. It's not Christmas without it. It's like pavlova. It's like trifle. It's like a good quality protein, which is now turkey. Used to be ham, now it's turkey. It's like having Christmas cookies, Christmas biscuits. Got to leave something under the tree for Santa, right? You have to, and that's why Santa's going to get my healthy gingerbread cookies. Yes, ginger dough cookies. So this is number 5 on my healthy feasting list. Always appears. Always appears. Are you ready? I know this is probably not what you expect. Stuffing. Christmas is not Christmas without stuffing. And I don't care. Like, you know, if I have Christmas and I haven't made stuffing, or if I go somewhere there's no stuffing, but I'm a bit sad because it is, I think it's the, and it's usually the only time I eat stuffing. Again, it's just at Christmas. I love it. Now, the stuffing that I love and the stuffing recipe I want to share with you, of course, is my own gluten-free bread for a start. So you got to make a bit of bread. But for anyone who knows me well, making a bit of bread is not that hard. Like, I've got bread recipes that you can make in your waffle iron in 3 minutes, right? I've got bread recipes that you can make in your air fryer in 20 minutes. I've got recipes that can go into the oven and take a little bit longer, of course, like 40 to 50 minutes. But because my bread doesn't have gluten and it doesn't have grains, you don't have to worry about proofing the bread, like, you know, leaving it to proof for a certain amount of time and then knocking it back and then reproofing it. So my bread recipes are quite good in that sense, that you don't have to wait. So I will do a gluten-free bread recipe, a nice quick one, and then I'll show you guys what makes the flavors and the smell of Christmas for me, and it's the stuffing. Now, I'm not sure if you can see in here, but I've got some fresh herb in there. Now, that fresh herb is thyme. Like, again, it is like stuffing has to have thyme. If it doesn't have thyme, there's something really wrong in this world if stuffing doesn't have thyme. So I'm going to teach you guys my my thyme and onion stuffing recipe with my gluten-free bread. Of course, you could stuff that into the turkey. It would take a lot longer to cook, though, gotta say. So I don't tend to stuff my stuffing in anything, but I just want that flavor. I want those flavors. I want it to feel that super traditional Christmas that, yeah, I think we all need to have at some point in time in our life. And you know, when we get the opportunity to have so many family around, even if we're on our own, you can make your own little mini stuffings. You can make your mini pavlova. If, you know, even it's just you, 1 or 2 of you, make your own little mini pavlova. You know, you don't have to make these great big, you know, sized items. Things can be broken down quite small, and you can still feel that you're having that traditional Christmas. So those are my top 5, and yes, stuffing's in there. I've got other side dishes as well that I normally do, but those are my favorite 5 healthy versions of our traditional Christmas feasting. And we're going to be doing some cooking classes on all those, plus a few more coming up to Christmas. I promised the 12 cooking classes, or 12 days of Christmas cooking classes for you guys. Keep an eye out this week on our Facebook page, on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen, also in our Facebook group, BHK Family. If you're not part of ours, come join us over in our Facebook pages as well. We'd love to have you there. We'd absolutely love to have you there. So yes, that's what it's going to be looking like coming up really soon. So yeah, have a wonderful day today. All you boost campers, enjoy breakfast. I'm about to go and heat up breakfast for me and the boys, get into this wonderful start to December. We're doing it right, aren't we? We're doing it right with Boost Camp. One last go around before 2025. And keep an eye out. I'll be sharing the times for the cooking classes coming up with you this week as well. So have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you all online really soon. Bye.